In this video, we're going to talk about the Stable Act that's just passed through committee in Congress, break it down a little bit, and definitely do a part 2 on this one, so stay tuned. So we got a bill that was introduced to Congress. It was the Stable Act, March 26th. It just passed committee, which is the Financial Services Committee inside of Congress, on a substantial vote, like a unanimous 30, it was a lopsided vote in favor for it. All right. Now, that's significant because, first of all, there's a lot of support for it. Second, it's bipartisan, so it's likely going to pass. And there's not a lot of amendments. Now, I was going to do a full video breaking this thing down, but it is actually way too complicated for me to even do that yet. So I'm going to need to do a part 2 because it's freaking dense. It's super dense. So, but a couple of unique parts on this is about just something that I think that's important is about the securities aspect. They're saying here in this bill that the stablecoin shall not be considered a security. So amendments to clarify that payment stablecoins are not securities. Investment Advisor Acts and Investment Companies Act, Securities Act. So it's making an amendment that this issuance of these new stablecoins are not going to be securities. I mean, literally, by January of 2026, I would say this is probably going to pass. Maybe if there's some amendments through Congress, it may pass. It's going to pass with some amendments, but I'm going to have to break this down much further because it's a very dense bill. It's super important. I mean, just if you think back, not in very distant past, this was way outside the realm of even possibility. No way. Can you imagine the U.S. government thinking stable coins? You'd think they're going to lose money. They're going to lose tax money, banking money. Well, it seems like that's what this new administration is all about, just completely stripping the power from the government. I mean, this is just beyond insane. I mean, an administration that is stripping power and control and financial control away from itself. It's amazing. I mean, I'm so excited. It's almost just I can't even barely believe it though. A stable coin is going to strip. They will no longer have the ability. Literally, we'll have our own money outside their system. Think about it. If people want to do a stable coin on Bitcoin, all right, you got money. They're live on Bitcoin right now. The original protocol, stable coin, peer-to-peer cash for fractions of a cent. In fact, they got a hackathon coming up this weekend. It's going live here in Austin, and they're probably going to do some major announcements. That's bsvhackathon.com. But I mean, the Stablecoin Act is huge. People were this much closer to having a peer-to-peer electronic cash system through, technically a fiat. It's like a resemblance of fiat on the stablecoin. I mean, and that is massive because if you're trying to send, I do business with people overseas. They don't have a way for me to pay them. Sometimes they don't even have PayPal. And so it's it becomes very strange. How do you pay and oftentimes they'll I want to get Tether. And then paying in Tether, then there's these huge fees usually associated with it, or a very high risk transaction. You're using some super risky thing like Tron or something, and could just be a total scam. But when you're actually dealing with a legitimate stablecoin through this act, and you're dealing with an entity let's say money that is regulated, compliant, passes all laws, no shadiness, no shady actors, all legal attorneys involved. I mean, this is insured. Basically, it's as good as FDIC. I mean, at that point, it becomes almost better, way better than FDIC. FDIC is out of money. They're not going to support you. So you think you got FDIC insurance, you better got another thing coming. FDIC is pretty much bankrupt as far as I could tell. So they might support one more small bank run like Silicon Valley #2, but that's about it. So this Stablecoin Act is a major breakthrough, and I'm going to do another video on it when I go really deep into the into researching it. Let me just preview. Yeah, it's definitely not going into Bitcoin, which is good. It's a great start for Congress because this is the big time, big cheese, the top dogs. But it does go into digital asset. Defining the term digital asset means any digital representation of value which is recorded on a cryptographically secure distributed ledger. Any digital representation of value which is recorded on a cryptographically secured digital ledger. Sure sounds like Bitcoin to me. Wow. I am really blown away by this. I'm excited to see this move forward. This is a really deep bill. I'm going to have to go through this much further. They're talking about basically creating new titles, Title 15, Section 80, Title 15, Section 80 through A, Title 12, editing the Federal Reserve Act on Title 12-411, national currency, meaning national currency of the Federal Reserve, as the term is also used. First undesignated paragraph 716 of the Federal Reserve Act, money standing of credit in the account of the Federal Reserve Bank, money issued by a central bank, and money issued by an intergovernment organization pursuant to an agreement by one or more governments. National currency. Non-bank entity. It looks to me like they're going to allow, I'm going to need to do a much deeper analysis on this. This is intense. All right, so stay tuned for a part 2 on this to come on the Stablecoin Act, on what it actually means. It's definitely too dense for me to summarize right now, but really exciting. Stablecoin Act look like it just passed through committee and it's going to be going into Congress for a vote, I'd say by the end of the year. It's making progress. Too bad they can't get the Federal Reserve Abolition Act, the Massey bill, forward. That's the big one. All right. So if you like this video, hit the ones, leave a comment, freaking see what's up. Stablecoin Act on Bitcoin, money, MNE, and check out the bsvhackathon.com this weekend in Austin. All right. This is Gavin. I'll see you at the top.